Very welcome to a new episode of Off to the 7,000 Islands. And today we're definitely gonna talk in this video about the elections in the Philippines. I want you to ask is that election worth losing friends? So let's get into it. As you might know or not, now since 5 months I'm living here with my wife Alyssa, who is from the Philippines, and that's actually really interesting because it's election period, and often you, the Filipinos, been asking what do I think about the election here. And I just want to say something first quickly for everyone, but especially to the foreigners who live in the Philippines, because I saw some negative examples in social media, and I think especially when you're from Europe or North America, when you say something about the political system, how things are run here and how all this kind of things is, even if they ask you for your honest opinion, often it gets received as a sort of arrogant or almost an insult when you say something, because it's just like, I think, well, the white people have been lecturing other people how to run their country for so long, since hundreds of years. Just keep out of this one. But I want to say something from a media psychology perspective and the personal perspective, but not about who you're gonna vote or not. But as a foreigner, I would really recommend to stay away from that kind of thing. Even if you don't mean it judgmental, it often gets received judgmental, and you realize that when people are getting really defensive about their country or something what you just said, and you're just like, oh, what's going on? I didn't mean it like that. That's what I noticed in many other countries, so I stay away here from that. That's my tip for the foreigners. And when you Filipinos ask me what I think about the elections, well, there's only two things I want to say, and one is my personal experience just living here, and it's quite noisy. So there's all those cars driving around with speakers making advertising or campaigning for a candidate. I don't know if that's effective or not. I have no experience, no idea, and I don't understand it most of the time because it's in Tagalog. I sadly don't speak it yet. I really want to learn, but that's maybe something something very strange for a foreigner, especially in Germany, where election is very quiet in comparison. But I think all the candidates are doing it, and it's normal here, so it's fine. I sometimes, if they park in front of my house for too long and I trying to work, I send them away. But I do that no matter who are they making their campaigning for. But otherwise, from a personal media psychology perspective, I've been in Facebook and other social medias, you can translate what other people are saying, and one of the things I want you to ask is that election worth losing friends? Just want to, I've been discussing that in the last few with my American friends, in the last few American elections, and in the internet it's easily posted, and yes, you want, of course, your candidate to win, and often the candidates, the politicians, make it about a life or death situation, and they want you to think everything depends on that. But I want you to ask, is it really like this election is gonna change everything? I believe in a democratic system here. I think it's when you look at the constitution and everything, it seems very robust. And I know the history of the Philippines is not easy, as many countries. I mean, as me, I'm a German. But I wonder if it's worth posting some of those posts I mean, it's okay, like to communicate, or what you think it's bad about the other candidate and all this stuff, but attacking personally supporters of the other camp, and I see that from like on the national side, on all sides, so I have friends who are supporting one side, friends who are supporting the other, and then there's coming posts where I'm like surprised, like, really, would you probably have friends who support someone else, and then it's this, it makes me sad. And when you attack personally other people because you think they're making the wrong choice, and you might be right, but you need to communicate that differently. And I mean, you're living in a beautiful country and you have really nice people around you often, and it's just, is it worth it losing your friends over that election? Because one thing is clear, the election, there will be a result, and I it's like, I don't think it's they say that every election, that's the most important election, and well, there can be bad things happen, but I think your democracy is strong as a whole. But the divides, what you might cause, or the friends you might lose, you never get back. And the divides, you see that in the USA, and there's actually studies about it, that this is so divided, and politicians of course push for that. So like you can't make compromises, you need to have this clear standing points, and if you think like, well, some of the ideas from the other candidates are good, and that candidate has also some good ideas, but he also has some bad ideas, well, that's actually normal, but it's not what they want you to think. You need to be all into one candidate, and that's very dangerous, because the divides, they will stay after the election. That's what I'm worried about. And you might want to ask yourself, and that's coming from, like from me personally, but also from a media psychology perspective. When you post something, is it worth the risk of losing friends over that? Because you probably can say it differently, and some sentence you can just leave away. I mean, like that's quite sad, and that's not just here in the Philippines, it's all around the world. When there's elections, this happens, and especially through social media. In the past, it didn't play out that much, because basically you as a normal person had not much of a voice. But now you can put your opinion, of course, out there in public to see for so many people. So there comes a responsibility with that, and I think first of all you have a responsibility to the friends you have, and it's maybe something to think about. And it makes me quite worried, because the same I see in Germany, and there of course I understand it much better than here in the Philippines, and I don't want to tell you what to vote for. Of course I have an opinion what I think is best, but it doesn't, when it comes from a foreigner, especially from someone who just moved here, it doesn't feel right to say that. I have no way of voting anyway, and so I think I will stay out of that. But I wonder if we can manage the tone better of this election. That's something what I have observed, and that's not just the Philippines, that's America, that's in Germany. I found it a shame when friendships break, and maybe business partnerships break over an election, and in a democracy. It's something else if you're like, you're fighting against an oppressive system, and then maybe you can't be friends with the people who are, making deals with that system. But even then, I would challenge you, maybe it's possible to separate that a little bit at least. Well, this video actually got longer than I thought, so I will talk about other things in another video, but maybe that's so far, because I got asked so many times, what do I think about this election? Well, that's my take on the election here in the Philippines. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.